Revealed just moments ago. President Trump on Capitol Hill. He can only afford to lose 2 Republican senators on the tax plan. And tonight, a reality check right here, what it means for middle-class Americans versus wealthier Americans and corporations. The desperate search at this hour. The toddler last seen in bed, vanishing from her home. The FBI now on the case tonight. The video tonight, what this woman was allegedly trying to tell a reporter from the Washington Post about Roy Moore. And who sent her in. And those are men in wingsuits trying to fly right into that plane.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with North Korea late today launching a new missile. And this time flying higher and longer than any missile that country has launched before. And tonight, what it reveals about North Korea's ability to reach this country. It is the third ICBM launch, the other 2 in July, each reaching farther than the one before it. The launch, a direct provocation to the U.S. tonight. President Trump responding just moments ago, and ABC's Bob Woodruff leading us off.
Tonight, North Korea acts again, and this time we know that President Trump was being briefed as the missile was in the air. North Korea's new missile test is another intercontinental ballistic missile, and what makes this one different? It flew higher and longer than ever before. 90 minutes after it splashed down in the Sea of Japan, the president addressing the provocative move.
A missile was launched a little while ago from North Korea. I will only tell you that we will take care of it. It is a situation that we will handle.
This is North Korea's third ICBM launch. It shot 2,800 miles into space, flying for 50 minutes. And experts warn if angled for distance instead of altitude, that same missile could reach deep into the U.S. mainland, including Washington, D.C. And tonight, the defense secretary knows that.
It's a research and development effort on their part to continue building ballistic missiles that could threaten everywhere in the world, basically.
The world listening when President Trump warned this.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
But just weeks ago in Asia, President Trump with a change of tone.
I really believe that it makes sense for North Korea to come to the table and to make a deal that's good for the people of North Korea and the people of the world. I do see certain movement, yes.
Bob Woodruff joins us now from Shanghai. And Bob, we know it's been 75 days since North Korea launched a ballistic missile. Any indication tonight as to why now, even after the president recently signaled hope for talks while in Asia?
He has, but one possible change, David, is, just a week ago that President Trump relisted North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism. So that could make things a little bit different.
Bob Woodruff in Shanghai for us. Bob, thank you. Back here at home tonight, another breaking headline involving the suspected serial killer terrorizing an American city. Police are right now questioning a man, and could he be the suspected killer they have been looking for months? ABC's Victor Akendo in Tampa.
Tonight, police say they're questioning this man who could be connected to a string of murders in a Tampa neighborhood. Officers responding to a tip about someone with a gun at a local McDonald's.
We confronted the person who had the gun. We now have them. We are interviewing them to see what they can tell us about this gun that they have.
Police say they've gotten more than 5,000 tips, but tonight they say they're hopeful they could have a break in the case.
I'm guarded on the whole thing, but I'm very optimistic, and we'll see. It's going to be a long night.
Earlier, police had identified this man as their suspect, seen on surveillance moments before the latest victim was gunned down on November 14th. They believe he's the same man spotted on multiple cameras near the scene of the first murder. All 4 victims walking alone, killed at night or early morning, just blocks apart, shot at random. For weeks, this community has been living in fear.
Hey guys.
Police doing nightly patrols. After the last shooting, the FBI going door to door.
FBI!
Seen here on this doorbell camera. Residents urged to stay inside while teams hunted for the killer they believed could be hiding out in their own neighborhood, many arming themselves for their protection.
And Victor Akendo with us live tonight from Florida on the case from the start. Victor, police now examining that gun tonight?
That's right, David. The chief of police saying that they have a gun, but they haven't determined if it's connected to the murders, saying that this man could be completely innocent. So for now, they're keeping up their nightly patrols. David?
Victor, thank you. We move on tonight here into your money, your taxes, and President Trump. The president went to Capitol Hill today to make his case. He can only afford to lose 2 Republican senators on the tax plan. This evening right here, a reality check. Who benefits the most? The middle class, the wealthy, corporations? ABC's Mary Bruce breaks it down.
President Trump on Capitol Hill today, an all-out push to rally Republicans around tax reform.
Mr. President, can you seal the deal on tax reform?
Moments later, it cleared a major hurdle. The Senate Budget Committee signing off on the bill over the shouts of protesters. But outside, Republican senators were surrounded. Protesters outraged over who wins and who loses in this bill.
Stealing money from the sick and the poor.
Analysts say the wealthy, those earning more than $100,000 a year, would likely see big tax cuts. But more than half of Americans would see their taxes rise within 10 years. By 2027, most Americans earning less than $75,000 a year are projected to pay more.
And what do you say to middle-class Americans who see these projections and are concerned that their taxes are going to go up?
I say that people are lying to them.
You think the projections are all wrong?
I do.
There's also concern about the impact of the bill's provision to eliminate the Obamacare mandate that every American has health insurance. It could cause premiums to skyrocket.
Health care is a right, not just for the rich and white.
On the flip side, the most recent plan also includes a tax break for owners of private jets and golf courses, even a tax credit for wine producers, and a huge tax cut for big corporations.
Save health care, no tax cuts for corporations.
Republicans insist the benefits will trickle down and ultimately help the middle class.
Listen, go away.
But these protesters aren't buying it.
If this bill works the way I think, all these loud people will have proven to be loud, and I will have proven to be right. If it doesn't do what I think it will do, then we will lose.
So let's get to Mary Bruce live with us tonight. And Mary, the Senate could now vote on this bill as soon as Thursday. Where does the math stand at this hour?
David, the Senate is heading towards a vote, but this is far from a done deal. Senate Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes, and tonight, by our count, at least 10 have serious concerns. But many of them tell us they were encouraged today by their discussion with the president. David.
Mary Bruce tonight. Mary, thanks. And the president facing another major deadline, and this could affect everyone. The government runs out of money next Friday. So could there be a government shutdown? After the president recently dined with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, what was behind the president's tweet today and their immediate response? And how does it all help avert a shutdown? Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
It was just a couple of months ago that President Trump was chumming around in the Oval Office with Democratic leaders Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, striking a temporary spending deal on their terms. A week later, bonding over Chinese food and chocolate cream pie. But today, the president found himself flanked by empty chairs. Pelosi and Schumer boycotting a planned bipartisan sit-down after Trump attacked them on Twitter. Meeting with Chuck and Nancy today about keeping the government open and working. Problem is, they want illegal immigrants flooding into our country unchecked, are weak on crime, and want to substantially raise taxes. I don't see a deal.
The president said, I don't see a deal, 3 hours before our meeting, before he heard anything we had to say.
Schumer and Pelosi said thanks, but no thanks.
They've been all talk and they've been no action. And now it's even worse. Now it's not even talk.
It's a bad time for an impasse. Funding for the government runs out next week, and there's no agreement on the big issues. Defense spending, legal status to the Dreamers, the border wall.
Do you believe there will be a government shutdown, Mr. President? And would you blame Democrats if that happens?
Would you blame if that happens, I would absolutely blame the Democrats.
All right, John Karl with us live tonight from the White House. And John, President Trump said right there he'll blame the Democrats if there is a government shutdown. Bottom line tonight, John, how likely is it?
David, I've covered a lot of these spending battles, and it seems to me there is a high likelihood that this one is heading for a government shutdown. And remember, government funding runs out a week from Friday.
David. All right, we're counting. John Karl, thanks to you. A verdict late today in the trial of the accused mastermind of the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Ahmed Khattala, convicted on terrorism charges but acquitted of murder, now facing up to life in prison. The 2012 attack killed U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 3 other Americans, including 2 CIA contractors. CIA Director Mike Pompeo today calling the verdict, quote, a small measure of justice. Next tonight, here to a piece of crucial video, a woman taking her story to the Washington Post. And what she said about Senate candidate Roy Moore, it was not true. and what is then heard on the video during the confrontation about it. So who sent her, and was it an attempt to trap that reporter? Here's ABC's chief national correspondent Tom Llamas tonight.
What you're looking at is a dirty trick exposed. On the left, Washington Post reporter Stephanie McCrummen. On the right, a woman who goes by the name Jamie Phillips. The Post says she approached them with an explosive story that Senate candidate Roy Moore got her pregnant when she was a teen and forced her to have an abortion. But the Post did their homework. They say the woman's story didn't add up, so they confronted her.
I also wanted to let you know, Jamie, that this is being recorded and video recorded.
The Post had broken the news about Moore's alleged relationships with teenage girls when he was a local prosecutor. One woman says Moore molested her when she was only 14. But reporters determined Jamie Phillips' story was not true and that she was out to discredit their reporting.
Frankly, I want to know if you're who you might be working for now.
I still do mortgage work.
Well, it's a little bit of an issue there, and I just want to ask you to explain it, because when we called the company that you said that you worked for, they said they didn't have that you didn't work there.
But then the reporter reads from a GoFundMe page Phillips allegedly started to finance her work exposing what she calls the mainstream media's lies and deceit.
Do you still have an interest in working in the conservative media movement to combat the lies and deceit of the liberal MSM? Is that still your interest?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not at this point. I don't really want to get into any more details about my life because I mean, it's like obvious that you're like not believing me.
With apparently no moves left, Phillips ends the meeting.
Tom Llamas with us live again tonight. He's in Washington, and Tom, Roy Moore's campaign says they had nothing to do with this.
That's right, David. Roy Moore's campaign tells me tonight they have no connection to this woman. Now, the Washington Post, in trying to figure out who she worked for, says they saw her walk into the offices of Project Veritas. That's a right-wing group that uses deceptive tactics to expose what they call media bias. David, tonight we reached out to Project Veritas. They would not comment specifically on this case. David?
Tom Llamas live in Washington. Tom, thanks as always. President Trump tonight winning the battle over control of the nation's top consumer financial watchdog that was put in place after the financial collapse hurt so many Americans. A judge now ruling the president can put his own budget director, Mick Mulvaney, in charge of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau after the director abruptly resigned and the deputy director took over. The agency's deputy director had said the way the law was written, she gets the post until Congress approves a successor. Today, though, Mulvaney now tweeting this photo of himself hard at work at the agency he once called, quote, a joke. Next tonight here, the first details of the royal wedding now emerging. When will it be and where? And is Meghan Markle about to give up her American citizenship? And one of the outtakes now making headlines from that interview just 24 hours ago. Here's ABC's chief foreign correspondent, Terry Moran, tonight.
For Harry and Meghan, the countdown has begun. A May wedding at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, the Queen's primary residence. And the royal family will pay for the festivities. The royal relatives weighing in today. Harry's sister-in-law, Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge.
William and I are absolutely thrilled. It's such exciting news. It's a really happy time for any couple, and we wish them all the best and hope they enjoy this happy moment.
And Camilla, Prince Charles's wife.
Said America's loss is our gain.
And the public welcoming their soon-to-be American princess.
It's good to see the royal family moving with the times at last.
It's time you got married and settled down.
During that interview, they just seemed so in love. The tabloids even turning to a lip reader to see just what the couple's whispering during those off-mic moments. Harry and Meghan laughing, interrupting each other. She wants me to say something, Harry says here. Oh, sorry, Meghan apologizes and gives him a look that slays.
All right, Terry Moran back with us tonight outside Windsor Castle. And Terry, we're also learning Meghan Markle will become a British citizen. The question, though, does that mean she gives up her U.S. citizenship?
Well, David, there's no specific law here in the UK that would require Meghan to give up her U.S. citizenship. The family spokesman says it's too soon to say what she'll do. But as an American citizen, she's still subject to U.S. tax law. And the British royal family just might not like that.
Oh,
David?
Perhaps it comes down to money. Terry Moran with us again tonight. Thanks, Terry. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Tuesday. The headline this evening about marriage and its effect on your memory. Does it help or does it hurt? Also tonight, the desperate search for this toddler last seen in her bed. The 3-year-old girl vanishing from home without a trace. The FBI now on the case at this hour. The new warning tonight for pet owners and a popular treat for your dogs. Tonight, the FBI in the desperate search for a missing 3-year-old girl vanishing from her bed in North Carolina. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
Authorities in Jacksonville, North Carolina are desperately searching on the ground and in the air, hoping to find a trace of 3-year-old Mariah Woods.
Our mind is open, our ears are open, and our eyes are open.
The girl's mother says her baby disappeared early Monday morning from her mobile home.
Please bring her back, and I love her. I'll do anything.
Christy Woods says she said goodnight to her daughter around 11 p.m. An hour later, she says the girl woke up and says her boyfriend told the 3-year-old to go back to bed. She says they discovered the child was missing in the morning when they went to wake her up. The girl's biological father, who doesn't live in the home, says he finds it hard to believe that nobody heard anything.
Somebody just walked right up in there, grabbed the 3-year-old out of bed. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, nobody heard nothing.
Police point out that this 3-year-old needed orthopedic shoes to walk, and those shoes were left in the home. They're asking to talk with anyone who had contact with the family since Sunday. David?
Steve, thank you. When we come back tonight, marriage and the effect on your memory. Also, the police search across state lines at this hour, the missing high school student and the soccer coach. And the new warning for dog owners tonight about a very popular treat. We'll be right back. Consumer alert for dog owners tonight. The FDA warning about potentially dangerous bone treats. The agency receiving reports more than a dozen deaths, 90 illnesses blamed on bone products, real bones that have been dried, flavored, or packaged. The treats are sold nationwide. The FDA did not name a specific brand, but said beware. And the high-flying stunt tonight, check this out. 2 French daredevils in wingsuits jumping from a mountain about 13,000 feet up. The flyers then attempting to fly into the cabin of the plane, and they do, as it's going over the Alps. Better them than us. When we come back, Amy Robach and what she discovered firsthand about the polar bears.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The isolated island village of Kaktovik, Alaska. The population, just 239. A stark and striking landscape, but not quite the snow-blanketed mountains you might expect from the Arctic. A change that has reached into all corners of life here, as we are about to see. We head out and soon find what we came for.
We left the shore 3 minutes ago. There are 4 polar bears right there swimming in the water. A mother with her triplets.
These bears, a drab shade of brown, wearing the signs of spending so much time on muddied land. Polar bears' natural environment is out on the sea ice, where seals are plentiful. But in summer, the ice melts, forcing the bears to forage for food on land. The bears used to spend just 3 weeks on land, but today they are stranded for nearly 3 months. Scientists say it's due to global warming.
30 years ago, you'd be sitting here and you could see ice out in the ocean. There's none now.
A village at the top of the world, the front line of a changing planet.
Much more.